And now the Wallace Wildlife Show presents the pride of the Oklahoma Highway Patrol, Lieutenant Dan Combs.
Thank you, Don Wallace. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a privilege and pleasure to have the opportunity to come out this afternoon and bring you this program. I sincerely hope you will not misunderstand the purpose of it. The program was actually put together not as a shooting program, but as a traffic safety program. The gun tells its own story. We try to tell the automobile story along with it. We use the gun in an attempt to try our best to convince the motoring public in Oklahoma or any other part of the United States that the automobile we drove here today, the one we use in our everyday life, the automobile in the hands of a citizen violating a traffic law, doing something wrong or something smart behind the wheel, is more deadly, more dangerous than one of these guns in the hands of any expert you want to put it in. We don't care how good you are with a gun or how many guns you have. All you have to do to understand this or to go along with it is to take a look at the statistics. The way we go about this is not very pleasant. It is not very nice. We're going to tell it like it is. Let's take a look first at the picture of a man with his head blown off with a shotgun. The one right behind this is a picture of a man with his head shot off his shoulders with a .270 Winchester rifle. This particular individual had committed cold-blooded murder 3 times right out here in Caddo County in 1957. He was attempting to outrun the highway patrolman and deputy sheriff when he got killed. He was blasting down the county road. He tried to make a left turn. The car slid off in the ditch. The rifle fell over against him and went off, and it blew his head off his shoulders. Seriously, as far as we were concerned in law enforcement at that time, the situation ended very nicely. What I mean by that is it saved the taxpayers of Oklahoma, the taxpayers of Caddo County, somewhere between $5,000 and $50,000 for having to prosecute the man for murder. And that was not the point I intended to make. That was just thrown in. The point we intended to make is we accept the fact, I think every American citizen can accept the fact that the automobile is as deadly as it is. So let's take a look. Let's compare. The next picture is a picture of a couple of gentlemen who got killed when they hit a 400-pound bull. They were running 110 miles per hour in a 56 Buick. If you look at these, you'll see that they're actually worse than the 2 people shot with a rifle and a shotgun. This is our problem. Apparently, we will not accept the responsibility in many cases, except the potential, the killing potential of the automobile when we get careless with it. A man out there drunk behind the wheel of a car is more deadly, more dangerous in our society than any killer that ever walked with a gun. Probably I do not need to, but let me remind you that any police officer, any law enforcement officer, regardless who we are, our sworn duty and obligation to our society is the protection of lives and property. If we can't protect our life, we don't have any business trying to protect anyone else's. Along this line, we may find it necessary that we use the gun. The police officers I know, we hope and pray to God we never have to use one of these things. But if we ever have to use it, I do not like to think about being second best. You know why? There are not any second place winners in a gunfight. There's a winner and a funeral. We do not like to be the funeral if we can keep from it. Also, before we start shooting, we make our excuses for our misses. We know we're going to miss some of these shots, and we always make our excuses first. Because if you should get involved in a gunfight, if you draw and miss, it's a little late to make excuses, don't you think? We make ours first. I have some real good ones, and believe you me, I've heard some pretty good ones these last couple of days out here on the range. I have a sore thumb on my gun hand today. It's been bruised a little bit. My hands are a little bit cold. We're trying out one of the new metal line fast draw holsters, and sometimes, of course, my hair gets down in my eyes. Now, this does this cause a little problem. These excuses we make for our misses sound just about as downright silly as some of these we hear for traffic violations. Excuse me. They sound a little bit like a gentleman traveling along at 85 up to and including 95 miles per hour at night. When he was stopped and arrested, the excuse he gave the officer was he was hurrying to the next town. He's afraid he's going to run out of gasoline. I've had that one happen twice in Oklahoma. You'll have them also. You'll have them also. As we go along with these things, we compare them with traffic violations, and actually, we compare them with sudden death. And when we say sudden death, that's the way it goes. That's the way. Did you hear that bullet go by over there? That should have been. When we say sudden death, that's the way it happens. You don't have time to think it over. Actually, it would be a little bit faster when you swap it out for the draw. Don't forget the Buffalo Bill roll. When we talk about the law enforcement shooting, you know, a police officer may be caught with your hands in your pocket, like some of you now. If so, you still need to get the gun out and get the shot off. You may be with your arms like this, which is a fairly favorite way for a police officer to stand, because if the fireworks start, you may want to get your arms up here, you know, So you may have to come up from the shoulder necks and get them. You may have to start with your hands up here. This is very possible. If so, you still got to get the shot off. If you notice one thing unusual about these police revolvers, they will only fire 6 shots. Now, these cowboy guns and police guns you see on television will shoot at least 114 times, but these will only shoot 6. We'll give you an impression of about what an automobile looks like when it hits the end of a concrete bridge running at 110 miles per hour. Have you ever seen one? They'll explode. If I can hit the cup, well, let's see about what it looks like, providing I can hit the cup. A one-car crash is difficult, or is terrific. A head-on crash is worse. I investigated a head-on crash in Caddo County in 1953 when 2 cars slammed head-on a rain-slick curve. The impact was so terrific, the engine was knocked out of one of the cars and lying 23 feet over in the field. 3 people died, 4 of them were critical, for a total of 7. One of those that got killed was a fine young miniature from right over here in Oklahoma City. These accidents do not show a preference. They take whoever happens to be there. I'll try them both if we can, compare them with a head-on crash, providing I can hit the cups. We'll try it and see. Now, when they hit head-on, someone dies almost every time. You can almost depend on that one. If you ever did try to unload and reload one of these things on a horse, and the horse running, then you know why the cowboys all had guns that would shoot 114 times. Fast draw is tricky, and it is dangerous. But we'll try it once and see. If you fumble, if you miss, all you got to do is say King's X, and he'll stand there and wait till you get all squared away and start over. One fumble, one mistake, it probably will be your last one. Now, every time we do that, Don Patton says, Dan, that was an accident. Anybody can hit one once in a while. Let's try one more to see if we can prove to Don that that was not an accident. Let's try one more to try to prove that was not an accident. Looks like Don was right. It took 2 shots to get that one. I would like to ask my friend Don Wallace to come out and be the traffic officer this time. He's going to write me a warning. Let's make a point of anticipation of keeping your mind on your business, whether or not you're handling a gun or driving a car. We're going to ask Mr. Wallace to be the officer, and he's going to write me a warning for some traffic violation. I hope he gives me a warning. Let's make a point of anticipation. If you keep our mind on our business, we'll anticipate the danger. Possibly we can stay alive. Don asks for my driver's license, forgets I may be armed and dangerous, and looks down at the warning book. If he does, he's inviting disaster. Go ahead, Don, ask for my driver's license.
May I have your driver's license, Mr. Combs?
Surely, I'll let you. I have it right here in my shirt pocket. Just a second, I'll let you have it. I have it right here. He's supposed to fall down on his head, you know. Just at 20. Did anyone notice the gun in the pocket? We don't notice it either until you're shot. It's just a little .22 caliber, does not look dangerous. But one of the best officers we had in the state of Oklahoma was killed right outside of headquarters, right over here in Oklahoma City, by one just like it in the hands of a 19-year-old killer. One mistake, all it did cost his life. We're working one-man patrol, one-man cars, you're on your own. You have the flashlight, the warning book, and the flashlight. After he starts, you have to try to come from behind and hope you can come out in front. Hope that you can come out in front. Go ahead, Don. Of course.
Talk about fast.
Of course, you want to be sure, not forget your courtesy. Be sure and thank him for stopping and giving a warning. Thank you, Don.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you. Let's give it, gentlemen. Incidentally, we have a man on the Oklahoma Highway Patrol who did it with a .45. Only I got the gun back in my belt before the bullet got out the end of the barrel. 8 years ago, February the 7th, I was out on the police department range north of Enid, practicing with these guns, getting ready to go out to a scout camp in about 3 or 4 weeks and do this with live ammunition for a group of scouts. I had fired the .45 one shot at 50 yards. I put the hammer down on what we call half-cock safety, stuck the gun in my belt, reached for the pair of binoculars hanging on the post to spot the shot. When I stuck the gun in my belt and reached for the binoculars, the gun fell from safety and it fired right there. And it smarts a little bit. I got a 230 grain 45 caliber bullet at 850 feet per second muzzle velocity, plus that ball of fire right through the intestines. That thing blew a hole in my side as big as one of those cups. The recoil kicked the gun out on the ground. I managed to pick the gun up from the ground, took the binoculars from the post, got in the patrol car, told the dispatcher on the radio what I had done. I drove about 3 miles down through Enid to the hospital, locked the patrol car, walked in the hospital, got up on the emergency table, pulled my boots off, and told those nurses I was shot. And believe you me, ladies and gentlemen, I was shot. 6 hours and 20 minutes in surgery, 13 days critical at the point of death. 38 days later, I walked out of that hospital again alive, and no one on earth knows why. The doctors and all of the nurses thought my good physical condition kept me alive. My wife and 2 daughters thought I was just too hard-headed to die. The only reason that I can give you that I'm still alive, I was never more serious and more honest with you in my life. Ladies and gentlemen, as far as I'm concerned, I'm still alive only by the grace of God. I can't give you any other answer, nor would I want to give you any other answer. I was praying when I left that pistol range. I prayed all the way down through that city to the hospital. I was still praying when I helped that little nurse hold that gas mask over my face to take the gas. And I have thanked him every day since, including this morning, for letting me stay alive. If you notice all the twirling and all the juggling stuff, there's not any benefit derived. It does not help your ability to shoot at all. It's strictly nothing in the world but show off. Most of the guns, if you train the gun properly, the gun will go back in the holster by itself. Now this is 45 caliber, the old submachine gun, and the old World War II vintage. And we'll shoot this thing short burst, and down about the center of the target over here on the side. And let's shoot it real short burst and see how it goes here. Now, sometimes the machine gunner gets carried away a little bit, and you may freeze on this trigger. And if you've shot one of these things, you know how bad they climb. So if I should freeze and it should start to climb, you may want to make a fast opening right through here, you know. Now, let's try this playing card up here in short bursts and see what happens. Did you notice how badly they climbed? They really were. Let's try this one with a little bit of a headshot. Now this is almost the recoil of a 30-06. Let's try the same gentleman over here, only with a headshot, with the M14. People argue it can't be done. It can be done if you want to. You've got to handle it. This time, let's go for the 45 automatic. When you say fire, punch the what? And let's see how long it takes off to get 12 shots off with the 45 automatic. Just holler when you're ready. Just say fire. I'm ready when you are.
Fire!
Pardon? Thank you, Dutch. Just drop it there on the table somewhere. Now, some of you may laugh about the old 45 automatic. Let's put a little speed on it and let you see just how fast it works before you laugh about it. Let's put a little speed on the old 45. It is not necessarily the slowest gun in the world, you know. Not very many people in law enforcement anymore carry the single action. And law enforcement officers, a lot of people snicker when you talk about fanning a single action six-shooter. All right, we'll take the target over here on the left. Let's try a little fanning and let you see that it's not the slowest gun in the world. You won't shoot your double action very much faster than that. You may a little bit. Ladies and gentlemen, I speak just as one police officer, not representing the Oklahoma Highway Patrol, or WKY, the Police Officers Association, not representing anybody. This is one man's opinion, police officer and a citizen. We do not ever, never dare disarm the American citizen. Never on earth disarm the American citizen. This one is a 12-gauge single-barrel shotgun, taken from between the feet of a drunken driver. By another trooper myself, he had it loaded with double-aught buckshot and told the judge in Caddo County he had the gun to kill rabbits with. However, at the time we stopped the gentleman, he was more deadly with the car than he was with the gun. Like the fellow they said he had to drive, he was so drunk he couldn't walk. If he'd have stepped out of the car and shot at us with a shotgun, he probably would have killed one of us. I think after I got to admit to you that I'm the slowest man on the draw and the worst shot on the Oklahoma Highway Patrol. And that's the reason Commissioner Mayberry had me go down to do these so I can get a little practice and I can catch up with the other fellow. If he'd have stepped out and shot at us with the gun, he probably would have killed one of us. But it's a single shot. And I could have gotten him before he reloaded and shot again as slow and awkward as I am with a gun. But if he would have weird over an alley and hit his head on, he probably would have killed us both. If I may, let me change the pitch for just a second. You walk into a hoodlum or a gang of hoodlums. They're violating every law in the book. They're all looting, shooting, robbing, burning, stabbing, raping, whatever, bombing, whatever they well please. They feel like they should be immune from the law of this country. You walk up and say, you violated the law, you're under arrest, get in the car, we're going to court. Instead of going to court, you get attacked with a switchblade knife, a chain, a gun, a club, a broken bottle in your back, your face, or your guts, or acid squirted in your eyes, and you slap him down. Up to the high heaven goes the scream and the yell of police brutality. And ladies and gentlemen, I, for one, along with a lot of other good police officers I know, have gotten our bellies full of it clear up to the gills. All the way up. I'm sounding a little bit hard-nosed, whether we like it or not. The day may be rolling up very fast when we may have to walk out there and stop that kind of an operator and stop him with a gun. First, if we have a gun. Then if we have the training and the ability to use the gun. In the event that we do have the training, the ability, and the guts. Then and if you reputable, God-fearing American citizens, if you have got the guts, you may have to walk over there in that district courtroom and back up that district attorney and the judge if they've got the nerve to put one of them in the penitentiary wherever he belongs. You may have to walk over in our state legislature and let our legislators know that you back them up on the law they would pass to try to protect the lives and the property and the rights of the people of Oklahoma and this nation. You may have to go over in what we once proudly did hail the Supreme Court of our United States, and still do, I think, and get on your hind legs and back it up if you have got the guts. Then and then only it'll be safer for our wives and our daughters to park her car by the grocery store, the church house, or the schoolhouse and get out and walk inside. I'll say one other word to you that might be involved in law enforcement. If that thin blue line that we call law enforcement, if it fails, our society will fail. We have some men behind the barricade who are not fit to be in law enforcement. I hope you never do turn out to be one of those. That is a very small, minute percentage of officers who go bad, who are bad. And if I may, let me speak for the rest of us. Ladies and gentlemen, we are on your side. Hope and pray to God that you are on our side. Thank you very much.